Okay, guys, we have an important question. If something is true, does it make it okay to say? Yes or no? You want to start? You want me to start?
You can start.
I'm on team yes. If something is true, I think we should accept it and then we should deal with it. And I believe this on principle. I believe with my partner, with myself, with kids. I think that there's so much value from recognizing truth and then, working with it. And truth may not necessarily be something that we're happy about or proud of. And the way in which that truth is shared, obviously, I think should be done tactfully, and it should be done with love, from a place of compassion and empathy, all that good stuff for sure. But in general, I think it's something that we should dive into. So as that relates to our relationship and this question and this face that she's making, she doesn't necessarily share that same, belief or philosophy. And so I'm going to leave it to her to kind of share her side, and then we can dive into what our respective thoughts are with maybe details. And also at the end of this video, for sure, please comment below. I absolutely want to know how you guys feel about the subject matter. Okay, go ahead. That's my take. So basically for me, yes, truth all the time. Start with truth and move from there.
I mean, the truth. There's so many perspectives.
What is this though?
You say so guys, whenever we get into an argument, we never really fight.
Whenever we get into it.
Whenever we get into
Sometimes
an argument.
we get into it, guys.
When we get into an argument, one of the first things he says is, well, it's true.
Which
and so my counter is, well, are you considering all the other emotions, feelings, whatever led up to that point? And yes, the truth might be true, but then there are all of the other things mixed up in the bottle, and so I feel like it's not really considered when you say the truth, on point without considering everything else. So that's where we sort of disagree, as well as J-Bear.
J-Bear is not in that camp.
J-Bear is in my team.
J-Bear is definitely not on that team.
I am too, Mommy. Yes, Mommy.
So in a nutshell, you have these two opposing sides, and I'm really curious in general what you guys think. Again, I fundamentally agree with her. I think when my self-talk is ruthless, so the way I speak to myself is pretty intense. But I recognize that that's not a good thing, and it's something I'm working on. I realize I want to not speak to myself so harshly because it's just not a good thing. That's not how I want to love and support and encourage myself. So obviously when I speak to other people, I'm very, very cognizant of how I communicate. And so with Risa, the kids, my brother, my parents, family, whatever, friends, I try to be very aware of how I communicate such that I convey, even if I want to say something that's true, that I convey it in such a way that's, again, tactful. Because frankly, truth in a kind of coarse or rough or too direct, overly direct way is just painful and frankly will be received by the overwhelming majority of people with resentment or anger or any of those words you could fill in. So there's a way in which it should be done. And so obviously with my partner in particular, I try to be as tactful as I can, and sometimes it's fine, but sometimes it just doesn't work because probably more specifically she's in a place more often than not, probably emotionally, where she isn't ready, able, willing to receive that kind of
just stop there. I have a really good example.
Okay.
So maybe a month ago we went on a date, and I put in all this time wearing putting on makeup, which I never really do, putting on nice clothing and getting ready, and then we walk out the door and we walk 5 minutes.
A minute. It was a minute.
Minute down the road, and then he goes, "Baby."
You're going to use this example? Really?
Well, why not?
Okay.
No?
I didn't think this was one of those examples. Sorry, go ahead.
No. So, I'm not really angry about that anyways, but I feel like it's a good example, so I'm just going to put it out there. So, we walk down for a minute, and he turns to me and says, "Baby, I think there might be a better jacket." And he didn't really like the jacket I was wearing. It was a checkered, random big baggy thing, and I was wearing like a really tight fitted what was it? Not a dress.
It wasn't a bra top. It was
like a quite scandalous looking.
Yeah, it was
a
revealing,
sexy really
top.
Sexy top because it's like a date night, right? And then, but then I wanted to cover myself for the train because I thought it would be too much for Japan. Then he goes to me, I think there's something that might look better. Why don't you try the black light jacket that you have? And I'm like, okay. In the moment, I was like really confused, but I just said okay, and I ran back and I changed, and it wasn't really an issue. What do you think? I mean, that's like from his perspective, that's the truth. Like he thinks that if I put on this other jacket, it might look better, and so he's telling me this when we're on a date. But I feel like if it were someone else, or if the girl took it a different way, it could result in like something that you probably don't want in a date. Like just all this arguing and like being angry and frustrated at the fact that you pointed that out. So I don't necessarily think saying the truth up front all the time is right.
Fair. Can we dive into a little more detail here?
Sure.
How many total times have I made a comment on what you were wearing like that one?
Twice.
In our entire relationship.
But I've never been like told that ever in any of my dates.
Interesting. Okay, so we've been together like 4.5 years. Just to clarify, this has happened twice. So this isn't like.
This is like.
Just to clarify, this is no. Just to clarify,
this is like.
There
Okay,
are relationships.
baby, I think you want to wear something different.
There are relationships where guys or girls are controlling and tell
What?
their partner to wear this and that. Like,
No.
this is, I think, not that relationship. I think I've done that literally 2 times in our entire time together. And the only reason was because, frankly, if you guys saw this jacket, I hope she gets a photo of this jacket and shows you guys. You guys would probably say like,
But it was
Risa,
in
I've seen you
fashion.
maybe
It
like
was in fashion, guys. It was like those like big like
it's a kind of oversized jacket
looking thing, which was cute.
I
I thought it was cute. He didn't like it.
Anyways, so well, I will say this, and again, there's no right answer here, but I would want her to do that for me. Like, not every day, not all the time, not in a berating or condescending way, but like in a loving way. Kind of, I think, how I did it to her. If we were going somewhere and I was wearing something and which mind you, I always ask her, I'm like, baby, how does this look? What do you think? And she gives me her opinion. Sometimes she says, oh, it looks great, wear that. Or sometimes she says, it's a little too tight or it's a little too big or whatever, which I want. Like, I want my partner, the person I love most, to tell me that.
Like, the issue is maybe the other person doesn't want to hear that. Maybe they're
Do you not want to hear that from me?
On a date when I just spent like 30 minutes prepping for
so you don't want to hear it?
No.
Oh my!
No, I feel
okay.
great. I feel great.
Guys, this is therapy.
I felt sexy.
This is therapy.
And then yeah, he says that.
No, okay, that's baby. I didn't know that. I'll not comment on what you wear in the future then, which I feel like is kind of sad. But okay, I'll just leave it alone. I don't have to comment. I just thought I knew what you wanted to look like. I understood you like put on makeup, did the whole thing. So then when we got out the door and we started walking, I kind of realized like, oh, maybe based on what I think you're trying to do, this is maybe not exactly that look. So then whatever you changed into, I don't remember, then was that look. And I was like, oh, this is great. And you agreed. You're like, oh yeah, this is good. So anyway, I didn't mean it in a condescending way, but that's an example for sure of like a truth bomb. That's something that I want from her. So maybe I just have to recognize that she doesn't necessarily want that for me, which I'm okay with. I can do that. So again, guys, for you, do you want the truth or not? If your partner's wearing something, and mind you, this is not a standard, like, do I look fat in this dress thing.
No, but then we actually had that conversation.
Go ahead.
He went into, like, it was something else. It was, like, a heated conversation. He was like, but it's true. And I was like, oh, my God. So if you see a fat kid, you just go up to him and say, you're fat? Like, no,
this is a completely different thing.
You don't say that.
This is a completely different thing. Okay, so the actual example is, like, if she wore a dress and she asked me, baby, do I look fat in this dress? Which I don't think she's ever done, but you have definitely asked me, like, how does this look on me? I basically tell her the truth in the way that's really loving. So she's wearing a dress and I don't think it looks great or it doesn't match the occasion. And especially if she asks me for my opinion, I'll tell her, I'll be like, baby, I honestly think you have better looking dresses, but this one's okay if you want to wear it. And I'll say that in like such a way that it's honest. If she ever wore something genuinely bad, which literally she has never done, like I don't think you've ever dressed like poorly ever in your life, ever. But if she did, I'd probably tell her, I'd be like, I don't think that's the look you're going for, or something like that. Likewise, I would want her to do the same thing for me. If I wore something and she didn't think it was the right look, I would want her to tell me that. And again, we are focusing on completely superficial things here, but they're just the kind of easy relationship examples. So with the do I look fat in this dress question, that was more if she were to ask me, do I look, does this dress make me look fat? Which I don't think she's ever asked me because she just hasn't. But if she did, I would want to give her as honest an answer as possible without obviously like taking into account how that makes her feel. And I know standard protocols like just tell her no and let her do it. I get that. But I also want, if she's asking me genuinely, which I feel like in her case she would want a relatively genuine answer if she asked me, then I'd want to give her an answer that would like support what she's trying to do. So if she's looking like, baby, she'll usually have two dresses and be like, okay, which one do you like more? And I'll just tell her the truth, like, oh, I like this one more because whatever the reason is.
If I'm like going to a really important meeting, then I would like to know that I don't look a certain way or I look a certain way.
Okay.
But then if I'm going on a date and I've already prepped myself for like a 30 minutes or an hour doing my hair, makeup, and my clothes, I don't want to have to walk back home just to change because you feel like it doesn't go with whatever else I'm wearing.
She is still on this. We are still on this. Baby.
What? I'm not angry.
Baby, I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean that comment offensively. I love you dearly and you're an amazing dresser.
That's just sort of...
Well, I was maybe that was like too honest. So I'll reel that back. Jaber, what do you think?
Another one is like when girls are on their periods and they're really emotional, they're like just trying to vent and going on it like about how they feel and how it's unfair or whatever that is, and then you just come in logically and said, well, that's not true, or that's probably not true, or like all those like realistic comments. I feel like it doesn't help women when they're already in that state when you point out the truth, because that's not necessarily what we want to hear.
Again, I agree. I actually agree.
You do?
Yeah, I mean, I always agree with this. So basically, if we just focus on me, like, I'm a fixer. So if something's wrong, I want to fix it. Probably most guys, frankly, fall into the fixer category, but it's not necessarily a gender thing. Although I think probably is. My opinion, it probably is, but it may not be. Risa, when there's a problem, she kind of wants to tell me about it so I can hear her out and then, like, show compassion, like, be present, just kind of listen to her, and so that she can be heard. And then that might kind of let her get through that. The process of sharing for her is that kind of cathartic problem-solving process, whereas for me, the process of problem-solving is very direct and logical and problem-solving. So when she shares problems with me, obviously, most of the times I actually just ask her, I'm like, baby, do you want me to kind of just, she'll say like, baby, I need to talk about something, and I'll actually kind of upfront be like, do you want me to just hear you out, or would you like my kind of opinion or suggestion on the subject matter? I think I do that most times, right? And then most times she'll give me whatever answer she wants. She'll be, I just want you to hear me out. And then I'm like, great, I'm just going to put on my, like, hear you out hat, and I'm not going to recommend things or whatever.
But then you give me the face of, like, oh my god, I just want to say the truth.
It's still painful to not help her with the solution, usually when it's really obvious. But, like, sometimes I think it's important to wear that hat. And then other times, she really does want to know something. Yeah, she, like, genuinely is like, I actually, like, I don't know how to answer this or solve this. Like, what should I write specifically? I'm like, okay, well, this is what I think you should write. And I'll literally write it out or tell her. That's a different kind of thing. So, I don't know. I think our system works pretty well, but I think I still generally fail to recognize intuitively when I should default to the just listening side, because the part of me that wants to fix things really wants to fix them. And so my immediate, as she's telling me the thing, my immediate thoughts are like, okay, this is exactly how we could solve this thing. And then I want to jump in with that, and I have to really control myself to not jump in with that thing. And then when she finishes, if I didn't say it up front, I'll usually say, baby, like, I'm sorry that thing happened. Do you want my suggestion, or do you want me to, do you just need me to be here? And then she'll give me her answer. Most times it's like, I just need you to be there, in which case I'm like, okay. And then I don't know, I hug her, and she, like, feels better, which is good, which is important, right? That's basically it. So anyways, this is getting long, but you guys tell me what you think. Is the truth always the best solution, or is it not? Give me your opinion. If you guys happen to like this video, smash the like button, click subscribe, and stay posted for our next video. If you guys also have questions you want us to go through, we're totally happy to do this. I actually love these kinds of conversations, questions.
Yeah, it's fun.
They often reveal things about our relationship that, like, I didn't even know, and maybe you didn't even know. Like, I didn't know how hung up she was on that jacket
I'm
thing.
not hung up on that.
You were totally hung up on that. I didn't realize that was such a thing, but it is. So now we can work on that. So anyways, drop some comments. Let me know questions you guys want us to answer. And thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys.